how's it going? I think we're live. Unfortunately, give me 1 second. I need to fix something really quick. Right, had to lock myself in because there's noise on the hallway and I do not want the noise to disturb this very beautiful stream. Going to be talking about OnlyFans, and I actually have questions for you. I want you guys to morally judge me, because like that's what the internet is for. The internet used to be for porn, now it's to morally judge people. It's, in Romania, usually a woman, when she ends up having no eggs, she has a balcony, right? So like seriously, like every single old lady here in Romania, they have a balcony. And what they used to do before the internet is that they would sit in the balcony and they would watch young people and they would constantly judge them, right? Like they would constantly judge their morality, like non-stop. This is what old women did all the time. But now it seems like that mindset of the old lady exists on the internet, especially with young men. Like probably, like, do they not have jobs or anything? No, instead of sitting on the balcony, they sit on the internet and they morally judge others. How can we allow? Why is it? Look at the damage to our society. Our society. It's interesting, right? So this is what I want you guys to do. Hello Soldio. Yeah, I guess everyone needs a hobby, you know? Maybe this is why I keep attacking Hollywood. Like, maybe if they were to start making proper movies again, people would actually have a genuine interest into doing something else. But no, like, no, seriously, just go on Twitter, and every time you see someone casting moral judgment, just do a line, you know? Like, I went to church when I was young, and I didn't get that level of moral judgment onto the church like I do on the internet right now. Every single time, like, someone uploads a TikTok video, a news article, and you have, like, 40 people just casting moral judgment. Just casting moral judgment, non-stop. And it's like, wow. I mean, I guess, you know, like, you need to cast moral judgment so other people don't look at you. You blame me, the women have hysteria? No, it's not even, like, the thing is, like, it's not even women that are morally judging. And I'm not talking about this article right now. I'm talking about the internet in general. It's like, for instance, right, like, you have the conflict in Ukraine, and you have Putin and Donald Trump. And, like, various people have takes. And if you have the wrong take, then other people morally judge you. Like, how can you think this way? How can you say this? What is wrong with you? Why are you saying this, you know? The internet wasn't like this, and I think that in the future it won't be like this, but unfortunately we have to live through the moral judgmental times. Trump Season 2 has been lit so far. Yes, it's true. This is stunning and brave, but an anime girl is problematic. Well, let me tell you something about OnlyFans, right? Like, we're going to be talking about OnlyFans a little bit. Now, here's the thing. I've never been on the website. I'm not even kidding, like, chat, I swear to God. Well, I can't swear to God because I'm an atheist. I swear on my mother's grave. I have never been to OnlyFans. Not once. Like, I have never clicked the OnlyFans link. Not once. Or if it happened, maybe by accident, but I swear I don't remember it. Like in all my years, I have never, not once, clicked on OnlyFans. And so, I get the idea of what OnlyFans is, but I don't know the details. Like from my understanding, there's no ficky, right? Like, you don't have, like, actual sex on OnlyFans, but it's like striptease, right? Am I correct? Like, is my understanding of the website right? So, like, you have a girl that goes in her bedroom and takes naked photos of herself. Like, is this what we're talking about? I just want to know if this is the accurate definition before I go on with my criticism. There is sex? So like, you have, like, sex with other men or like, toys and stuff? See, other people have no clue because, like, my generation have been deprived of OnlyFans. There's everything? Oh, it has everything. Okay, right. So it's like Pornhub, but you have to pay for it. Am I understanding it now? Depends on the girl. Alright, so it's like Pornhub, but you have to pay. Is it like video footage or is it like just pictures? Like, do you just see pictures of the star or do you see like actual videos? I do believe there are couples. Bering had a video with a dude and a trans woman. All right, I see. Now I'm understanding it a little bit better. See, no, I'm not kidding. I've never went there. Photo and video. All right. Can you stream? Can you live stream on OnlyFans? Like, can I do that? Like, do I need to have sex, or like, can I just take my troll and start an OnlyFans channel and do like safe for work content? Like, is that allowed? That would be interesting. Like, I would like to upload political videos on OnlyFans. Holy shit! Like, I can actually have like an anime girl behind me. Like, I can rig a live 2D anime girl. Dancing, belly button dancing behind me while I talk about politics. V, you know, if you made an AI girl, you could make tons of money on OnlyFans. There's so much text to video generation now. Why would all those chicks have sex with random people if it's not for OnlyFans content? I'll explain in a bit. I think you technically can do safe for work. That was the site's original purpose? Get the fuck out, no fucking way. Oh, so I can. Okay, so if I ever get banned on YouTube, I'm going on OnlyFans. And I'm actually going to get like an avatar, like a naked anime girl or some shit. And I'll talk about politics. That would be great. Holy shit. Anyway, right, so, my take. Here's my take. In Romania, we're a very religious country, right? But we don't operate based on sola scriptura. We operate also on tradition and ritual. And in Romania, it's like, has anyone died? And if the answer is no, then don't fuck with the thing. Just leave the thing alone. Because the thing, if you fuck with it, can have repercussions. And so, like, I have to wonder, like, is OnlyFans, as a principle, something new? Like, is it something that exists now, but has never existed before? And the answer is like, well, when I was a kid, you know, you had actual porn magazines that you can buy. You had, after 12 at night, you had like various commercials for sex lines, and then like you had cable that actually showed porn. You had VHS tapes, also with porn. And you also had phone sex. Like you could pick up the phone, and there were like ladies on the other line. And you could, like, talk with the ushi-kushi lady that was probably fat, and she would talk to you, and you'd spend a lot of money for doing it. No, not Playboy, right? Not Playboy. Like, there were, like, actual hardcore publications. And so, like, I'm used to that existing, right? Like, I know those things exist in society. Like, I'm aware that those things are in a society, and so... why exactly should OnlyFans shock me? Like, when I know there are worse things, like, for instance, there are actual women prostituting themselves at the corner of the street. And those women are also, you know, spreading diseases, and they're subjected to violence because they have a pimp and all of that, right? So I know of that existence, and you expect me to get shocked because there's a website on the internet where none of my family members use it, none of the people that I know use it, so why the fuck should I care? Like, make me care. That's what I want to know. Like, how can you convince me to care when I know about other things? Right? It's kind of like your house is burning, and you want me to care about the Christmas light trees, which are still glowing a little bit too hot. Right? It's like... like seriously, and the thing that I notice... I'm not telling other people not to care. Like, if you want to care about OnlyFans, go care about OnlyFans. I'm not stopping you, no. Like, wage your jihad against OnlyFans. But why do you want me to care? Like, why do you insist that I give a shit? Like, why do you divert your energy into trying to convince me to give a fuck? I mean, like, I can't give a fuck about everything in society, right? Like, you guys have a fentanyl crisis in the United States, right? Do you want me to care about that as well? Okay, I care about that. Do you want me to care about, like, the lady that's on the corner of the street prostituting herself? Okay, I care about that as well. Do you want me to care about, I don't know, like, what else is there? The anime, right? Like, anime is problematic. Okay, I care about... How many things do I need to care about, though? Like, is there a limit to the amount of things that I have to give a shit Like, I'm trying to prioritize here, you know? I'm trying to focus on the things that really matter. And so I generally don't think that there is a problem because, like, even if you do take the website down, let's say that there's no more OnlyFans. Do you think it's so thottery that they have existed for thousands of years? Right? Like, all of a sudden, you manage to, like, cleanse society of the evil? When if you go to a prison, like, I want you to understand this, right? If you go to a prison, a maximum security prison, they have porn there. They have hentai there. It's called contraband. Like, if even in the prison you're unable to cleanse that shit, I'm just saying, you know, you can care. I'm not telling you not to care, but why do you want me to care? The fucking Pope liked an OnlyFans, actually an Instagram girl. He liked a Brazilian girl. Even God likes what's beautiful. Now, I don't want to make people fall in the other category where you think that I'm encouraging people to use OnlyFans. I'm not encouraging you to use OnlyFans. I don't fucking use it. I have no one in my family that uses it, no one in my circle of friends that I'm not telling you to use it. Right? I'm not even telling you not to spurg out about it. Go spurg out about it. But why do you want me to care? That's the thing that I don't understand. Why is it so important in your life that V from Romania cares about the same issues that you do? V prison equals US movies? No. Like, when I went to law school, I actually did visit penitentiaries. Like, it was part of the law school training. And I did talk to convicts. And I do know about contraband. Like, they actually told us, like, well, while we were there visiting the prison, they told us, it's like, oh, they have contraband. And, you know, in Romania, they don't have, like, hardcore drugs, but they had sleeping pills. Like, sleeping pills were very popular in prison because they believed that they can cheat time. Right? They can cheat their prison sentence by sleeping more. Unfortunately, it fried their brain and made them addictive to sleeping pills, so it wasn't that good. That's a Romanian problem. I don't know if the US is facing it. Other contraband that they had include porn magazines. Right? And people get stabbed over them, apparently. Like, if you ruin another man's porn magazine, they get really upset. And so, even in prison, right? Like, where porn is banned, they still manage to get porn. I'm just saying, it's... Like, if you guys couldn't ban alcohol, right, during the prohibition, which actually requires... Like, why can't you ban alcohol, but you can ban drugs? Like, it's simple. If you have a drug like cocaine, right, you gotta plant it, you gotta grow it. It's visible. Like, people see it. If you have it in a yard, like, people walk past it, they see the plants, right? So, like, they can call the cops on you. But if you try to ban alcohol, well, how is alcohol made? It's made out of fruits and vegetables. Sorry, it's made out of fruits, right? Anyone can go to the market, buy some fruits, and then, like, distill it in their basement. And no one knows, right? The same with porn. Like what... like, your genital organ is attached to you. All you have to do is film it. And then sell it. And, you know, like, sure, like, if you want people ended up in prison for, like, watching porn, I mean, go for it. I think it's an interesting idea what will happen when people rebel. Like, seriously, imagine the father. Imagine the father that now knows that his daughter is going to spend 5 years in prison because she did pornography. How do you think that father feels? Like, is he going... Like, are you so sure? Are you so confident that he's going to be upset at the daughter? Or is he going to be upset at the politicians and the activists that put his daughter in prison? Like, where do you think the rage is genuinely going to be channeled on? Especially knowing that most people love their family, for better or for worse, right? So, like, I seen people say, yeah, like, people who do OnlyFans should be in prison. Okay, the moment you imprison their family members, because they may not do it, right? But, like, they may have a 19-year-old son or a 90-year-old daughter that does it, and now she's in prison. And they have a lot of pent-up rage, a lot of pent-up anger. Where do you think they're going to channel it? He should feel like a failure. Yeah, but see, the word is should. But, like, let's think about it deeper. Like, how do humans actually react? Do humans react the way they should? Or do humans react irrational most of the time? Especially when it's, like, an emotional thing, right? I'm telling you, most people, especially when it's about their daughter, they act irrational. Like, you can see, even when you have a crime that's not sexual in nature. Like, let's say you have a teen that breaks into a house or breaks into a car and he gets arrested. What do his family say? Do they say, oh, well, it's good he's in prison? No, he starts blaming other people, right? Now, usually, when it's a crime that the society agrees it's something bad, then those people get suppressed. But if it's a crime that most society doesn't think it's bad and doesn't think it should be punished, the moment you start putting up people in prison because they drank alcohol, right? That's when you get the backlash against the prohibition. The moment you start putting people in prison because, you know, they're adults and they took a picture of their body or some shit, that's when you actually get the pushback. That's when you're going to get a lot of angry people. And I'm telling you, like, no one is more angry than when someone is hurting their daughter. And that's how they're going to view it, irrationally. But it is what it is. If you have moral values, convictions, you live up to it. Yeah, but, like, how many people in society have moral values and convictions? And how many people in society are hypocrites when it comes to their own family? Because that's what you want to do, right? Like, you want to punish their family. How do they think they will feel about you the moment their family gets punished? Do they think that they'll be upset at their family, or they'll be upset at you personally? Again, you know, I really don't care about it. Like, I just seem to understand human nature and how things go by looking at how things were in the past and applying them into the present. Like for instance, in my country, and I told this before, the wife of the dictator got shot. And this is a little bit surprising. It's like, why is it that the wife of the dictator got shot? Because in most other places, like, the dictator gets shot, but the wife is left alone. Right? Like, you don't need to shoot the dictator's wife. Like, you can exile her, you can imprison her. The reason they shot her is because she banned abortions. She banned abortions, and not only that, she also banned the pill and the contraceptive, and a lot of right-wingers are based. Well, the reason she got shot is because all of the anger and the hatred of the people that had their daughters in prison for trying illegal abortions, or their sons in prison for being a doctor and trying that, all that rage was channeled towards her, and people demanded that she gets executed. And that's part of the history, you know? Like, this is what happens when you build up the rage from people when you're trying to force morality on them that they don't agree with. Like, there needs to be a middle ground, you know? You can't ban condoms, you can't ban the pill, you can't ban abortions and force people to have children without people hating you. And by the way, fun fact, the population demography went up for a while and then went back down. Even with the ban on abortions. Like, you just notice a huge increase in public birth, and then a huge decline. I mean, again, like, you can call them losers. That's fine. But you should know how they will react, right? Like, there's losers, but they're overwhelmingly many. 1,000 losers to one normal person, you know? Baby murderers. Well, here's the thing, right? Like, in Europe, we generally don't have this conversation on abortion that you guys have in America. Like, in America, it's the land of the extremes. On one hand, you have people that are the Democrats, and you know, like, it's making TikTok videos with glorifying abortion, cheering for it, right? Like glamorizing it. Like, I've saw TikTok videos of young women that have a big belly, and it's like, oh, look how much weight I lost before and after the abortion. And they're treating it like it's a happy thing. You know, it's almost like 2 for 1. And then you have, like, the monetization, the corporatization of the abortion industry, where it's like a money-making thing, right? So, like, that's one extreme. And the other extreme is, like, under no circumstances, no way, no how. We don't do that in Europe, right? In Europe, we actually negotiated. And so, like, we allowed the conversation to happen. And we found out, all right, well, what is a middle ground? And I'm not sure, but I think, like, in most European countries, it's, like, between 2 or 3 months or something like that. Like, a lot less than it is in America, but it's still allowed. And on top of that, you have stigma against it, right? So, like, just because it's legal doesn't mean that there is a stigma. You know, it doesn't mean that we don't do this whole nonsense with promoting abstinence, another extremist thing. Like, you can't expect a person at the age of 26 to never have sex. That's unreasonable, right, in 2025. No, you promote condoms. Like, you need to use condoms. It's unthinkable to have sex without condoms. And so, like, you promote that. You also go against the concept of abortion, right? And then you have less abortions than you have in America. Without banning it, right? I'm just saying. And people aren't unhappy. There's no, like, debates around it, like, political things where you have, like, an entire party running on the platform of abortion. It's just, it's a non-issue. We don't have this thing, abortion clinic. Like, what the fuck is that? We don't have it here. But like, this is what happens when you as a society get together and you understand you're not going to get what you want, right? You're not going to get what you want, but the other side isn't going to get what they want either. You negotiate, you talk like adults, and you find the middle ground and you use that. Because you have to live with those people in society. They're your neighbors, they're your family members. Like, you gotta live with them, and you need to find a way to make it work. So you can't be like, oh no, my point of view is going to be inflicted upon you, because that's how they think as well. You wouldn't want their point of view to be inflicted upon you, right? So like, if you don't like something, why do you do it to others? Like, just find the common ground. And the interesting thing is that, well, the common ground means that you're actually having less abortions in Europe than you have in the United States. Without banning it, right? And yeah, by the way, like, taking the pill is something that I completely discourage people. It has side effects. No, like, the condom is sacred. Like, there is no bad things about using the condom. You should always use the condom, nonstop. And by using the condom, we have lowered the STD rates dramatically in Romania. We have fixed the HIV epidemic in Romania. We don't have unwanted pregnancies as much as in other places. You gotta know, like, abortion doesn't exist just like most people think, like a teenager that's promiscuous. That's what they think when they talk about abortions. But what about the family that already has 3 kids and doesn't want a 4th? Right? Like, why should they get a 4th? They already have 3. Jacob Andrew, don't forget that doctors went to prison because they tried to help those girls. Yeah, it's true. And how do you think their parents felt? And how do you think those doctors felt? Unwanted children get Minecrafted after birth. No, that really didn't happen. What happened in Romania was, like, a lot of women used clothes hangers and various tinctures and poisons that their grandmas taught them. And so, like, when I was in hospital, one of the things you had to ask is, like, how many abortions you did. And I was absolutely shocked to hear old ladies that they had 10, 12, because there was no contraceptive. Like, there were no condoms. There was no pill, right? And they didn't want to have kids. And the government, can make it illegal, but they can't supervise the person 24/7. And so, like, she had more abortions than she would have had if she had the condom available to her. But it is what it is, like, usually authoritarians don't actually try to follow up on their practices. They think, okay, we ban this, we sign a piece of paper, problem solved. The reality is, if you don't convince people, they will find ways around your paper. Like, they will find ways to go around what you're trying to accomplish. And they also hate you, right? Like, so the reason they try to go around is just to spite with you. A perfect example is in Iran, right? Like, in Iran, dancing is verboten. Like, they don't allow people to dance. And people dance just to spite the government. And they have, like, underground nightclubs and underground stuff where they do more than dancing. But again, it's like, the reason that people hate the government so much that they're willing to do it in order to be cheeky little shits about it. Closing the legs is patriarchy. The thing that is ignored now is that, though this is based on a specific cultural, theological, and, let's be honest, ethnic perspective, nothing we said is all that reasonable in Islamic areas. Well, yeah, but, like, in Islamic areas, they're extremely brutal about it. Like, I'm pretty sure that even in America, if you had the prohibition, and while you're having the prohibition, you're executing people who aren't Christian, right? The apostasy, the punishment is death. You start stoning people, you start cutting off people's hands and shit. Well, maybe then the prohibition works, right? But, like, do you want to live in that society? Like, is that something that you genuinely want? To rule with terror and fear so that people comply? Because you can, yeah. I mean, sure. Like, like, if you use Islamic values in the United States during the prohibition, and you force everyone to convert to Islam, and you enforce that by the sword, and you use all the Sharia punishments for the people who break the values, yeah, you're going to get the prohibition. I mean, it's possible, because it exists in other parts of the world, sure. Absolutely. But, like, would you want to live in that society? Like, is that someplace that you would like to live in? You're telling me that in Romania there's a real Footloose? I don't get the joke. No biggie, as long as I'm the dictator. Well, that's funny, right? Because, like, the royal members of the Kingdom of Saud, They actually go to Vegas and they get to see all the sexy girls and they're promiscuous and they do all the shit that would get their people severely punished if they tried to do, right? So yeah, like if you're the dictator of that place, sure, it's great, you know? Like no bans applied to you. For my friends, everything. For my enemies, the law. They have cigarette prohibition crime in Australia right now. Cigarette mafia there. It's even worse. Like in Britain, they're having a cigarette prohibition. But the way they're prohibiting it is so retarded. So basically, they said that when the prohibition was set in place, I don't know, I think it was like 2020 or 2021, like whatever. They said that every person that hasn't reached 18 by that age is not going to get cigarettes, ever. Like, you can't buy cigarettes in your entire life if you're underage and you haven't dinged 18 by the time the prohibition was set in place. But if you are over 18, if you're an adult, then you can still smoke. And so, the system is mental. Because what it means is that every single time you go shopping, right, and you're buying cigarettes, now you have to stay in line so that the cashier checks ID, verifies if the person is born after that specific year or not. But they're like, what's to stop someone that can buy cigarettes from just buying and selling it at a higher price to his younger brother? I mean, there would probably be entire businesses of people just going into a supermarket, buying cigarettes, and then selling it at double the price to the younger people. And what's really ironic is that if you look at the cigarettes, like the rate of smoking was going down naturally. Like people would have just stopped by themselves. But no, the government needs to ban. Government needs to ban because, well, probably CO2 in the air or some shit. And it's also interesting. This fascinates me, right? The obesity crisis isn't the problem. Like, no government in the West, except for the United States right now with RFK, talks about the obesity problem. Like, the obesity problem is almost like it's a natural calamity. It's just something that is a punishment from God, and if you could criticize it, you're criticizing God, and you should get smited, right? Like, that's the way they're viewing things. And so, the obesity crisis is a bigger burden to the healthcare system than the cigarettes, right? The smoking. And my mom died from smoking cancer. Right? So like, I should be upset about it, but at the end of the day, I'm thinking like, no, you know, if I could turn time back, I wouldn't prevent my mom from smoking, because she knew the risk. She was very aware, but it made her happy, you know, like that brought happiness in her life. That was her vice. Like, is the quantity of life more important than the quality? Like, no, it's a harmless vice. Let the person do the vice, because we all die from something at some point, right? If she didn't die from cancer, she may have died from kidney disease or something. But you still die, right? Let her live her life the way she wants to. U.S. food do be unhealthy. It is extremely unhealthy. Like seriously, I don't understand this idea where everything harmful should be removed. Like the concept of safetyism. The place where you get maximum safetyism is in a maximum security prison. You get free food, free healthcare, free clothing. You get a roof over your head, right? And you can live probably a lot more. Like in a maximum security prison, you're probably going to live a lot more than if you're free. But who wants to live in a maximum security prison? And so this is why I disagree with like trying to go and force people to be virtuous. Like, let people be virtuous themselves. My godparents, another example. My godparents were smokers, both of them. They were doctors. They stopped smoking. It was incredibly hard. But like at some point in their life, they decided to stop smoking. Well, they died from pancreatic cancer. Wasn't tied to smoking, but they died from something else, right? So it's like, just let people do whatever they want. Within limits, of course, you know, because you don't want them doing cocaine, because that's different. Like, cocaine burns your, it actually burns your neurons, right? It burns your receptors, ruins the quality of life, and also makes you a danger for society. Like a person that's addicted on cocaine, when they don't get their fix, they get incredibly violent, they get aggressive, right? And so like that is a danger for the rest of society. I agree, like hardcore drugs should be banned. But like there should be a consensus, like a middle ground, you know? Like drugs are bad. Okay. Which are the drugs that we can allow the public though? Telling the public that they're bad, making the public aware that these drugs are addictive, they're bad. And so people say, okay, alcohol is one of them, tobacco is one of them, right? These are the ones we allow, but you don't get to have the others, right? So you find the middle ground. You find the consensus where everyone is happy. People aren't worried that cocaine is on the streets for their kids. People aren't worried that their kids can buy cigarettes, right? And then there's also the parenting and the stuff involved. But at the same time, you don't treat adults like children. You do allow adults, if they so desire, to partake in certain vices. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech, but free speech is not freedom of speech. Squares and rectangles. Oh my god, I hate that controversy on Twitter. Considering how expensive American healthcare is, I don't understand why Americans aren't more careful with their weight. I don't know either, man. Like I recently just dropped 10 kilograms because, again, I was going up the stairs and I was holding my son in my arms as I'm taking him from the living room all the way to his bedroom. And as I reached the top of the stairs, I realized that I'm gasping for breath. Right? So I'm already sweaty. I'm gasping for breath. I wasn't that fat. I had 92 kilograms. I'm 1.70 centimeters, right? So 1.70 with 92 kilograms. But like I was, this is not healthy. It's not healthy. Like I wasn't boogie sized. But I didn't feel healthy. It wasn't my weight because I'm already married. So I don't really care like what other women think about me, right? Like my wife loves me and that's the only thing that matters. And so I decided to lose weight. Right? Because I don't want to end up in a hospital. And I don't want to end up in a situation where if I'm gasping for breath after climbing a flight of stairs, like God knows what would happen if I keep getting fat. And so I'm now 82 kilograms, right? Now it was very difficult to accomplish. Took a lot of willpower. I'm still dropping in kilograms. It's just been like 2 months since I went on a diet. And, hopefully in the future I will have like 70, 75. But like, again, like I realize that it's a problem. I don't know why Americans don't. And I don't know if they can. I mean, obviously it's the food there. So my cousin told me a story that many other people who travel to the United States experience. Like she traveled to France. She traveled to Spain. She went throughout the entire Europe. She lived in Romania. And she has like a very sedentary lifestyle. She sits at home most of the time. She's an artist. She draws. Was also an architect. And so she basically like cooks herself. She makes herself like ravioli and spaghetti and shit. Anyway, she decides to travel to New York. And she's in New York now. And all of a sudden, like not changing her lifestyle, just maintaining the same habits, the same diet, exactly the same thing. She gains like 20 kilograms. And it's like, okay, I can't really blame Americans for the fact that they're fat because it's in the food. And not everyone has time to go to the gym, Portion sizes are way big. No, it's not the portion because she was cooking at home. Like, she wasn't going out eating fast food, because, like, at one point, people were blaming the fast food joints and the burgers and shit. It's not really the fast food joints either. Like, it's the actual food. She is making her own meals. Like, that's the thing. She is making her... But the thing is, like, in order to... hello, fat. In order to have a healthy diet, you need to eat 3 meals a day. You need to eat a lot of vegetables. Like, it takes a lot of time preparing stuff. And so, like, most people don't want to spend 1 or 2 hours of their day making food, right? Like, most people are too convenient now. So, like, they want to make food that's easy to make and not difficult to clean up after. Anyway, right, let's see what this OnlyFans models is saying. So, basically... she's traveling to the world's most dangerous countries to break sex records, but she's most afraid of the United States. This person is an attention... Can I say the word on YouTube, right? Like, when you say attention whore, it's not, like, related to sex. I know the feminists hated it. But it's like a person that's willing to demean themselves in order to get attention. Right? Like it was a gender neutral term back in the day, which the feminists complained and they thought, no, this is a term to oppress women. No, it's not. Like, it's not to oppress women. It's actually used to shame a person that's doing stuff to demean themselves just to get attention. And this is what she is doing. Now, there were a lot of people that do this, like back in the day. You had like various actors and like random people trying to do it. But for instance, like you have Lord Miles. Lord Miles has warned the Afghanistani secret intelligence in order to look out for this woman, and he wants to warn the Russian embassy to look out for this woman and punish her. And I'm like, well, what Lord Miles is doing, obviously it's not sexual in nature. But would you want your son to travel to the most dangerous nations on earth? If you are a father, right? I mean, if you're applying morality, let's be consistent with it, right? Like in a normal, healthy society, would your parents be happy if you decide to go into a war zone just to see what happens, right? Just so you can live stream, just so you can get super chats, and to have the experience. Would your dad be happy with that? Because I know I wouldn't be if my son did that. I would probably think I did something wrong raising him up. Obviously, I wouldn't be happy with this daughter either. Right? And so, like, I would cast moral judgment on both. Like, no, like, you shouldn't actually go to active war zones unless you absolutely have to, unless it's, like, for a humanitarian reason, for, maybe you're a member of the press corps, but even then, even the press shouldn't be there, because you get the fog of war. But the thing is, like, again, like, the one where the United States is the most dangerous, like, this is a statement she did just to drag attention. There is no fucking way any sane person that lives on planet Earth thinks that the United States is more dangerous than it is, or maybe she thinks that Lord Miles is from the United States, right? Like, if Lord Miles was from the United States, then yes, the United States would have been dangerous because it has people that think so poorly of her that she's willing to announce foreign governments that may endanger her life if she is caught, right? So, like, then, yeah, like, with this level of morality, I would say. Or maybe she's referring to places like Chicago or California, where crime is indeed rampant, and, right? But I have a feeling she's not referring to that. Still, I don't think she believes it. I generally don't think that she believes the United States is the most dangerous, and if she does, then buy a gun. Right? Just simple. You can. I don't know if tourists, like, can you buy a gun if you're a tourist? I need people from the US to tell me. I'm actually curious about it, right? So, like, let's say I visit the United States, and I don't have a visa there, I'm just visiting, but I want to have a gun. Like, I just want to have a gun while I'm in the United States. And obviously I can't take it back to Romania, but I want to have it while I'm in the United States. And then when I'm done with it, I'll just give it back to a friend of mine or one. Can you do that? Like, I'm literally curious. Oh, the title is misleading? Okay, we'll read the article and we'll see. It wouldn't be my shock if the title is misleading. Buy a gun, sure. Legally, no. Oh, why can't you buy it legally, though? Like, why do they care? If you're a or is it, like, not available to non-citizens because, like, the Constitution doesn't apply to non-citizens? You can't buy a gun unless you're a permanent resident. But why, though? Huh? No, I know it says so somewhere. I'm not disagreeing. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with your take. Like, I'm not saying you're bullshitting me. I do believe that you have to be a citizen to buy a gun, but I'm curious why. You can actually do that through the magic of antiques. Buy a repro black powder. Because there's a background check. Well, they can background check me, right? Like, they can work with the Romanian embassy. Find out that I haven't committed a single crime in Romania. Find out that I'm not affiliated with any gangs or with any terrorist cells. And I want to buy a gun. Why? To have it while in the United States. But you're not allowed to have it in Romania. I won't bring it in Romania. I'll just drop it in the United States before I leave. By the way, another question, since we're talking about guns. Is it legal in the United States to leave a gun on the street? Like, let's say I have an AR-15, and I just place it on the ground and walk away. I just abandon it. Is it legal? Like, are you allowed to do it? You can rent a gun. I don't want to rent a gun. I want to buy one. It's an American privilege to own a firearm. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just like curious, why did you... Like, I'm not saying you should allow me. I'm just wondering, why is it that I'm not? Like, what is the reasoning that I'm not? I'm not saying that I should have a right to buy one. The gun laws in my states, New Hampshire, imply you could legally carry. State law says residents and aliens who do not have a felony can open carry or... Okay, so it's from state to state? It's littering. It's a felony to abandon a gun. It's illegal to buy in Romania, so trying to buy it would make you a criminal. That's not how it works, actually. In Romania, if you go to another country and you commit something that would be a crime in Romania, but it's not a crime in that country, you're fine. So, for instance, if I'm in Romania, I'm not allowed to smoke marijuana, right? Like, this is a crime in my country. Smoking pot is illegal. But if I go to California and I smoke pot over there, even if the Romanian government is aware of what I'm doing, it's not a crime. It's because of the international thing. It has to be a crime in both countries to actually get punished in Romania. So I would have to go in, like for instance, if you go in another place and you commit a robbery, right? Like that's illegal in Romania, it's illegal over there, and then when I come back, they prosecute me, or they can deport me. But if you do something, or if you do something that's not a crime in Romania, but it's a crime in another place, when you come back to Romania, you're not deported. So for instance, if I go to Saudi Arabia and I drink alcohol in public, it's not a crime in Romania to drink alcohol. So when I come back, even if the Saudi government would want me deported, the Romanian government wouldn't. And I think it's the same for the United States with some exceptions. In the United States, if you, for instance, the drinking age is 21, right? And so if you come to Romania when you're 18 and you drink alcohol in Romania, you don't get punished when you go back into the United States. Like, they're not going to punish you, even if you do it on a live stream, even if, like, people know what you did, right? Because it's legal here. However, I think when it comes to sex crimes, the United States have, like, the long arm of the law. And for sex crimes, you do get punished even if it's legal in that country. So the Tate brothers, right? Like you had Florida, the Florida governor saying that the Tates aren't welcome in Florida. I think that's what they're talking about. Because there have been cases in the United States where people went, I think, to places like Thailand or Singapore. I don't know which particular country. But like the age of consent is very low. They have like child prostitutes over there. So, like, there were people from the West that went to those places, abused children, and when they came back in the United States, they got arrested because even though it was legal there, it's not legal in the U.S. And I think, like, there's also another thing in the U.S. where you have, like, various age of consents throughout different states, right? So, like, in some states it's 18, in some states it's 16. I think, like, the majority of states is 16. But if you have a state where the age of consent is 18 and you travel to another state specifically to sleep with a 16-year-old, when it's legal there, right? So it's legal in that state, that's still a crime because you traveled specifically for that purpose. And so like that's different for international law. Like usually international law, the way it works is that they punish people who commit crimes that are crimes in both countries. So it needs to be like both countries where consider it a crime in order to be deported or in order to face punishment when you're coming back into your country. When Nestle uses slave and underage labor, it's okay because it happens somewhere else. Well, yeah, but like the thing is, it's a lot more difficult to prove when it's an entire industry. And chances are, like, the people who work at the Nestle factories as supervisors, they don't travel to the United States anyway, right? And so, yeah. The federal age of consent is 18. So any interstate stuff falls under that. Okay, that makes sense. Now I understand. But it's weird that the federal age of consent is 18 while most states have it at 16. I don't get the discrepancy. Like I looked at the majority of states in the US and it's 16. Some of them have Romeo and Juliet laws, but the federal is 18. Like, I'm not complaining or anything. I'm just trying to understand. Like, I don't get the discrepancy. Like, why isn't it like the average, the national average, as the federal? How would they know? Like, if the age of consent is different in the United States than Philippines, if you don't tell anyone, how'd they know? Well, the people that got arrested, they filmed documentary over there. They filmed videos over there. Like, usually, the way they know is because the person brags about it, or it's a high profile case, or someone saw them, right? In other cases, like the parents of the victims can file a complaint to the US Embassy. Like there was, usually it's English professors that do that, right? Because like they go there in order to teach English and then they abuse their students. Yeah, well, he recorded himself doing a crime, but he didn't think it's a crime, right? Because like it was legal in the country. And he was a US citizen, so when he got back to the US, he got arrested. It's kind of like, remember when Elon Musk went, I think, to Joe Rogan and they smoked pot? Elon Musk was in a state where pot was illegal at the time. And a lot of leftists freaked out and they were basically saying, oh my god, look what he's doing, it's illegal, it's illegal. No, it was legal in the state that Joe Rogan was. I think it was in California, so it was legal for him to smoke there. But when he returned to his country, it wasn't illegal because he committed no crime in the state that he traveled to. It's kind of like that. Anyway, right, let's keep reading the article. So a Swedish OnlyFans model is attempting to break a world sex record by sleeping with men in every single country in the world. Elsa Thora 22 tells the Daily Mail. By the way, like the way you can fight these people is not by morally shaming them, is by not talking about it. Because like these people feed on attention, right? Like this is what they do. Like they're doing something that is immoral. They're aware they're doing something that is immoral, specifically so that people get outraged and talks about it. That's genuinely why they're doing. And so, like, if you don't talk about it, if you're indifferent to them, they stop doing it. And to be fair, you know, like, people treat it as it's, like, the decay of society. I would agree with you if there were millions of people that do this. But, you know, like, out of 350 million people in America, you get one person that does it, or 5, or 10. You know, like is the OnlyFans girl that slept with 1,000 men. Okay, how many of them do that? And then you gotta realize something else, you know, you gotta zoom out a little bit and think of context. So, let's take a lady of the night, right? Like a street prostitute. So, how many men does a street prostitute sleep with? Like, I don't know. I actually never interacted with any street prostitutes, so I don't know a number. But I assume they work Monday to Friday. Like, how many days a week does a prostitute work? Is it 5 or 7? You know what? Let's say she works 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, right? Like a normal working schedule. How many men per hour? Let's say like probably like a taxi driver, right? Like it would be in that zone. So how many clients, how many customers does a taxi driver say? Let's say she has like 20, right? Like, let's write that. So she's got like 20 customers per day, right? You know what? No, maybe I'm a little bit... Okay, maybe she's not that good. Maybe she's not that... She's got like 10 customers per day, right? So that's like 5 days a week. That's time 4 weeks a month. That's time 12, right? So we reach a number of 2,400. Now, again, I know this exists in the real world. Like, I'm aware that this stuff happens on a regular basis, and you want me to be shocked that some OnlyFans girl slept with 1,000 men. I mean, yeah, it's bad, but like, compared to what? You know, like, compared to what? Like, it's more like panic porn, if anything. It's like, oh, look how society is foiling. It's like, is it though? Because when my grandpa was young, like, there were brothels that operated legally in my country, Not OnlyFans, no, actual brothels that you could go, right? And I know the number now. Now, again, if you're upset, you can be upset. I'm not stopping you, like, just be upset. But why do you want me to care? Like, I don't care because I look at things in perspective. And it's like, if that doesn't shock me, like, honestly, this doesn't shock me. It doesn't shock me. It's like, okay, well, thoughtery have existed since time immemorial, and it will exist long after I die. So it's not shocking. Like, I'm shocked about other things. So it's like an easy way of scoring cheap virtue points, The other thing, and this is like why I'm not shocked, is that news like this, they're panic porn. They're like, look how bad society is declining. Why do we never see wholesome news? Did you notice that? Did you notice that there is never wholesome news? Like, where are the news of a woman that actually achieves having a stable family and she's happy and she has kids? Like the PewDiePie example, right? The PewDiePie example is not being brought up in the news, and even when it is, people still hate him. The left hates him because he's a straight white man, and he's successful, and he's rich. So when he got robbed, the left despise him. Right-wingers despise him because they think he's a traitor to his country. It's like, why did he left Sweden? So, like, even when you have people that are successful, you still have people that are hating. At which point, you just need to stop caring about what other people think. This is how you get to the moral decoupling, to the atomized individuals, right? Because, like, no matter what you do, no matter how you behave, there will still be people that call you immoral, and they bitch and whine. It's like, oh, well, why did you leave the country? Why didn't he stay in Sweden? And yet the man is happy, right? Like, he's drawing anime girls. He was the top at his game on YouTube. He has a family. He loves his daughter. Lives in the place where he wants. But, he's a traitor to his people. Okay. Right. Like this is when you just stop taking people seriously. Bjorn, next in line for the YouTube crown. I don't know who Bjorn is, but if you say so. Women act like traveling is an accomplishment. Yeah, I don't get that. No, I think, okay. There are people that have, like, different aspirations and goals in life. Like some people want to be rich, like some people have a career as an aspiration. Other people have, like, a family as an aspiration. And there are the weirdos that like to travel. I don't fucking get it. It's like, why do you want to travel? You can literally go online and you can see the places where you can visit. But there are people that like to travel. My wife likes to travel, and therefore I have to make sacrifices. I don't like traveling. Like, the worst part about traveling is being in like, the traveling itself. The destination isn't bad, but the traveling itself is harder. Like, being stuck in a plane for a couple of hours until you get there, I hate that. But, like, again, there are people who, unironically, they love travel. I don't get them. But it is what it is, that's their pleasure. I'm not judging. If that's what makes you happy, go travel. I mean, like, people do need to put bread on the table, and the traveling industry is a legitimate business. Yeah, but that's the thing, like, Nightmare. Thank you, V, someone gets it, travel is awful. You gotta understand from my point, like, I like writing stories, I like making YouTube videos. For other people, it would seem like hell. Like, they wouldn't like doing what I'm doing. They find it boring, they find it plain. And so, those people tolerate what I'm doing, right? So I tolerate what they're doing. Like, they like to travel, I like to sit at home all day. Right? So I don't judge them, they don't judge me, and we're happy. The moment someone judges me and they become a problem, then I start judging them as well. And we become confrontational. To be fair, some people live in Britain. Their outdoors is the same as the inside of an airplane. Nightmare, for my fellow travel hater. Yeah, I just don't like traveling at all. I hate it. It's so fucking awful. And by the way, there is another thing that I don't get about traveling. Like, there is something that travelers do that really pisses me. I mean, it doesn't piss me off. It's like, just trying to understand, and I just don't get it. So they travel to another place. Like, let's say they travel to Dubai, and they stay in the hotel all day. And say, well, why the fuck did you go to Dubai? It's like, well, to stay in the hotel. What are you doing in the hotel? Well, I'm enjoying the swimming pool, and I'm like, can't you do that at home? Like, you can literally go to a hotel in your town that has a swimming pool, and you can fucking enjoy it. For the weather. That's interesting. Traveling for a purpose makes sense. Going on a pilgrimage, trying certain cuisines and activities to a region, conducting business, and maybe visiting relatives. Purposeless travel is just stupid? No, like, I think most travels are stupid. But again, like, you gotta understand that the things you like aren't the same as everyone else, and the things that other people like aren't the same as what you like. And so you need to start understanding that the purpose is to respect other people's hobbies so that other people can respect your hobbies. If you don't respect other people's hobbies, why should they respect yours? I would actually visit America. I would love to. But it's a 13-hour travel, and then I'm in New York. Why the fuck would I ever want to be in New York? Like, there's no reason on planet Earth that would make me appreciate the fact that I'm in New York. Like, my country would have to become so shit before I decide, you know what? Maybe I should see New York. It's actually good. Like seriously, it would actually be a downgrade for me to leave my city in order to travel to New York. Like, I would notice a decrease in my happiness. Can you imagine going to New York and then taking the subway? Hello, AgriJig. Do you know what's in the subway? The American military. Did they stop deploying it? Because, like, they deployed the National fucking Guard in the New York subway to keep the peace. And so, again, like I got to see a video on TikTok where a woman was set afire in the New York subway. And I'm like, but why, though? You know? It's like, why is a woman on fire? Like, why? And when you look at it, no reason. No reason. The man who set her on fire didn't know why. She was burning, nevertheless. And so, it's like, why would I want to travel to such a place? I don't blame if the Swedish chick is afraid of the subway. Artemis Fowl, I have ridden on the New York City subway system. It is ass. To be fair, like, I don't think the Romanian subway system is better. But, like, no one is burning in it. There was a case where, like, a woman tried to push another woman off the rails because, like, she was mentally ill and she was caught. But, like, that's it. In, like 10 years, that's what I heard about the bad thing about the Romanian subway system. Go to Disney World? If I wanted to go to Disney World, I would go to Disney Paris. Like, there's absolutely nothing that I want to visit. And Disney World isn't even in New York. That's in Florida. No, there's nothing that I want to visit in New York. The cost of plane ticket is that expensive, and if you stay there long enough, then the cost will make you worth something. If you're going for a few days just to see the landmark. If I was to visit, I would just visit Japan, you know? Like, I would visit China. Like, I would visit something that's worth a trip of 10 or 12 hours that I can't see in Europe. If I want to see America and Europe, I go to Britain. I probably upset a lot of Americans now, but it's fucking true. Anyway, she added, now that one is ticked off, I think India is the one I'm more nervous about. Something about the chaos and unpredictability of the place scares me. Well, lady, if I was to say what I want to say about India, I think she knows. There's no way you can be on the internet and you can't know. I gotta say, you know, about India, like, when I was growing up with all the movies and stuff, and I even had a girlfriend that liked Bollywood films. Like all the Bollywood films are like this. You know, like, that's what I heard from her room all the fucking time. Anyway, no, Bollywood is actually better than Hollywood now. It's actually improving in quality. But it was like this mystical place, right? With elephants and stuff. And you have like wise people. And then Twitter comes along with its free speech and manages to completely tarnish the reputation of an entire nation due to certain little cultural habits that they display. And so a lot of cases that are coming out from India that are doing the nation a lot of prestige. And so she doesn't like it. She heard horror stories of creators being detained for hours and hours just because they have an OnlyFans account, which last time I checked wasn't against the law, she said. I don't know why I'm saying it's against the law. It's called corruption, lady. It's putting me off visiting because I don't have the energy to be interrogated like that, but it makes me sad because America is one of the countries I'm most excited about visiting. Oh, she's afraid of the United States. Hold on. This is not India she's worried. She's afraid of the United States because creators have been detained for hours and hours? Is that something that happens? Like, I would think that America needs like at least 5 or 10 more years of this moral fogging going on before it takes to that level. I really want to do a road trip around all the United States. And maybe even complete a side quest and break the record for sleeping with someone from all 50 US states. She is currently taking up $30,000 a month on OnlyFans. Said she hasn't had any trouble globetrotting. This is why I don't hate her. Like $30,000 a month, right? I don't make $30,000 a month. I'm a person that values wealth. If you don't value wealth, you haven't struggled paying the electricity bill. When you struggle paying the electricity bill, you then understand that with morality, love, and compassion, you can't feed the family. If she makes $30,000 a month and she is smart, her kids will never go hungry again. This is actually something funny. A lot of people were freaking out in Romania that one of our senators allegedly was doing OnlyFans. And people were freaking out. And my argument, just shut them up. See, because in Romania, people aren't that moralizing. But like, if you make a good logical argument, a coherent argument, they agree with you. And I was saying, according to the last census that I saw, there are 200,000 women that do video chat in Romania. And off of those 200,000, you also have the auxiliary people, like the editors, the managers, like the other people that also are involved in the industry. And they're all paying for the GDP. Like, it would unironically be a Romanian economical catastrophe if video chatting was shut down in my country. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, people would go hungry. They would go out of a business. It would cause an economic collapse. Probably a recession. The same thing with crypto. Like, the crypto bros are another group of people that are keeping the Romanian economy afloat. And so, like, my goal in life is to make sure that other people from my family don't do any of that, right? Like, my daughter, if I'm ever going to have one, she's never going to do OnlyFans. My son isn't going to watch OnlyFans. And then I can say I'm a good father. But I respect the fact that there are other people willing to do the dirty work so that the economy flourishes and I can enjoy a happy life, right? And if you disagree with that, that's on you. Like, you're free to think what you want. But I am also free to enjoy the labor and the hard-working ladies that are producing the wealth that I'm happy with right now. See, I'm grateful. Grateful, like Thanksgiving. But there was a politician, and I'm like, so fucking what if there's a politician that did OnlyFans? Like, if you have 200,000 people, don't they need a representative? Because, like, recently there was a law that was supposed to increase taxes for people that do OnlyFans and certain, like, infringements, Like make sure that studios that do video chat are like 5 kilometers away from a school. Like nonsense like that. Because if it's a fucking studio and it's already in a room and like kids don't have access in and you just make sure that the windows are covered and everything like that. Like why does it need to be like 5 kilometers away from a church or whatever? Like it makes no sense. But the law was specifically designed to fuck with them basically. And so like why shouldn't they have a representative? Like when a law like that targets them. Like shouldn't the lady just go and talk with her senator? And the senator understands the business, understands the model, knows what she's talking about, doesn't judge her, and then can, like, explain her things in the Senate. This is how democracy should run. Like, the democracy means that the representative should be a mirror of society. Why is it that every single politician needs to have a suit and a university degree? Why can't politicians be a plumber, a garbage dealer, you know, like all walks of life? Every single type of person should be represented in the Senate if you actually want to have proper representation. Then people get less angry because at least they can vent their outrage somewhere, you know? You don't talk with filth? Oh, but you like taxing the filth, right? You love taxing the filth. You love benefiting from them. But then you also expect them to support your causes, right? Like when there is a bill that you want passed, when there is something you want, oh, then you want them on your side. Why are you making enemies of people that literally do not fucking bother you? Just stop making enemies for the sake of making enemies. Like, make sure that your family doesn't do that. Make sure your friends don't do that. But why are you being antagonistic to a group of people? You're like a vegan crying about meat is murder. Right? Like, you're bothering people and you're making yourself a problem. Why? What do you gain? Like from a tactical point of view, not a moral point of view, right? From a tactical point of view, what do you gain by upsetting someone that makes $30,000 a month? Like, that person can fuck with you in ways that you don't even realize. If I was to make $30,000 a month, like, after 5 years, I have enough fuck you money that if someone genuinely pisses me off, I can make their life absolutely miserable. Absolutely. Like, and so, like, why do you want to piss off these people is something that I don't get. I have seen OnlyFans girls ruin lives. And they don't even have to pay money because they have a following. And that they just say this guy is a hater. And that guy then gets absolute hell in his life. No, they probably don't fuck for a living. I think like most of them just have naked pictures. Thanks for the singing, V. Thank you for the super chat, Bring. That was an actual Bollywood song, Sing More? No, Nightmare, no. I don't want women to vote in the first place. Yeah, but we don't live in the fantasy world that you like. We live in reality. And in reality, women vote. In my opinion, poor people shouldn't vote. Well, actually, you know, I take it back. In my opinion, I think Ursula von der Leyen should be crowned Empress of the European Union. And she should just anoint regional governors to all the member states. So, like, no one should vote. You should just have, like, an appointed governor that governs over your nation for 5 years, and then she names a new one, because voting apparently is dangerous. Occasionally, people vote incorrectly. And so we can just bypass all the shenanigans and the circus by having, you know, like, someone competent, like Ursula von der Leyen, assign a regional government to my country, and then that person gets to decide for the rest of us. Look at the United States. Dude, the United States is an awesome nation. Like, if I was in the United States, you can go into a small town and you can live a very perfect life. You can look at, I don't know, Pakistan. Like, Pakistan, I don't think allows OnlyFans, right? Or Iran. North Korea. Usually nations that are so, I think, yeah, no, I do think that pornography and trying to ban it is a sign that the place is a little bit too authoritarian. You know, because it's not the porn itself that's the thing. But it's like, once they ban the porn, they can't help themselves. They need to ban other things. Like they need to do other things, right? Like, once they get that through, and once they're happy that they got that, they can't just live and let live. They have to micromanage every single aspect of your life. Look at the birth rates in South Korea. And they ban porn, by the way. Right? Like, look at the happiness in those places. It's not about porn. That's just like the canary in the coal mine, if you will. China bans it, but they don't enforce it. Like, every Chinese person that I spoke with, like, they watched the Fiki Fiki. I'm not saying porn is good either. Like, there is another thing where you can say something is bad, discourage people from partaking, but not spurring out, and also not wanting the government to ban it. Right? Like, again, OnlyFans. Like, none of my family members is going to do OnlyFans. Because I think I'm going to do a good job as a father. But that doesn't mean that someone else that does it, I would stop them from doing or anything. Once they finish fucking with the farmers? I see. Everything in excess is bad. Yeah, that's actually a saying that should be applied more often. Anyway, right, I'll stop it here. I'm going to have to upload the videos on my other channel. Thank you guys for coming in and listening to my ranting. And I'll see you tomorrow.